Hello Pisces, and welcome to my channel Tarot by Gabrielle. This is going to be a general reading for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus placements, looking at your connection to the person that you are dealing with and needing to learn the most from right now. We will be pulling for all three sides of this connection, so we'll be looking at your energy toward it, their energy toward it, and the energy in between it. The concept being that there are three sides to every story, so we'll be looking at your version of the truth, their version of the truth, and this higher level unbiased truth in the middle. This middle section will be looking at what is the deeper purpose of the connection and the best way for you to move forward in order to align further with your higher self. Friendly reminder that these are general readings. They are not here to resonate fully for everyone, and they won't resonate fully for everyone. So do please remember to take what does resonate and helps your personal situation, if there is anything, and leave what does not. On that note, the whole reading can be reversed. If that is the case for you, especially if you're a cross-watcher, that's totally fine and totally normal. Again, the point is to take what helps and leave what does not. Last thing is that any information on the extended reading or on booking a personal reading or coaching session with me is in the description box below. All right, Pisces, let's start with your side of this connection to the person that you are dealing with. This is Pisces energy toward this person. Ooh, 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 ooh. Trapped, contract, soulmate recognition. Okay, there's some sort of a soul contract going on here. And I feel like, so I get that with this soulmate recognition and this contract card. And I will say, maybe you identified this person, you believe that they are a soulmate, that there's a soul connection here. And you could very well be right. But I want to just a reminder, we have many soulmates in this life. They all serve a different purpose. And, you know, if there is a loss of one soulmate, you always have the opportunity to find somebody else that you connect with on the same way, on the same soul level. I just think that sometimes we can get really caught up in believing like if it's not this person, I'm never gonna be happy, or I'm never gonna be able to be as in love as I was. And I think that can create really unhealthy attachment. So just side note, remember we have a lot of soulmates, but I do feel like you are dealing with a soul contract. And those can come in so many different forms. You know, they can be, we sometimes meet people specifically to learn lessons. Sometimes we meet people to teach us about ourselves or to help us grow or evolve or expand or heal in some ways. Now, I feel like in particular here, Pisces, you're feeling very trapped in this connection. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that you want out. Like, I'm not saying you want separation. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. Maybe there is separation and you're wanting things to get back together and you're trapped in the pain of that experience. Either way, I feel like you wish that things were different than they are, whatever that means to you. And I feel like you feel very trapped in how things currently are. And I feel like they are the way they are for a reason because of this, this contract card here. So I don't really know what we're getting into. This is going to be interesting, but let's keep pulling here. This person's energy toward Pisces. Wishing that things were different. Not necessarily meaning that like you want them out of your life or anything like that, but I feel like you wish that the connection was a little bit different. Okay, this person's energy toward Pisces here. Romance. Interesting. So this person has feelings for you. There are, whoa, dream come true with synchronicity. Interesting. Okay. So I do feel like this person has very strong feelings for you in this connection. And I feel like they had or have a certain idea of how they wanted this connection to unfold. And I feel like for both of you, things didn't or haven't unfolded in the way that you expected. Now, the synchronicity card makes me feel like this person can't really get away from this connection either. It feels like both, like, even if there is separation here, I feel like this is one of those connections where just like everything consistently kind of brings you back to the thought of one another, which there usually is, like I said, a deeper reason for that. Now, I feel like this person, their energy it just feels very hot, cold. And what I mean by that is I feel like sometimes they're one way, and then maybe another time they're a completely different way. And that's leaving you very confused and trying to figure out like how they really feel, what they really want, where they're really coming from. And I don't blame you, because I feel like they're hot and cold energy. And this is something I'm just kind of like literally feeling. Like I got hot for a second, and then that kind of wore off, and then I got hot again. And I was like, okay, I feel like this is kind of a reflection of the energy that this person is dealing with. And I think that this back and forth energy is coming from something outside of the connection, something that doesn't really have to do with you, I feel like. But that doesn't mean that you're not affected by it. So I don't know what's going on here, but let's just keep, because it's obvious. I mean, look at this. Romance with dream come true. Like, it's obvious that there are feelings here. It's obvious that they see value in this connection. So why is their behavior so wishy-washy? You know, that's kind of the question here. Okay, truth of this connection between Pisces and this person. Divine timing, know your worth. So divine timing is definitely at play in this connection. And I feel like, you know, a lot of times divine timing, we really lose what that, like, side of what that really means. Because it's not necessarily like there's a certain date and time that's written to which this connection is supposed to work out. Divine timing is all about alignment, aligning your energy with the energy of the love that you deserve, and being able to attract that one way or another, whether it is in the form of this person or somebody who ends up being better for you, whatever that might look like. And I'm not saying that either or. I'm just talking about in general what divine timing really means. Now, this know your worth card, I feel like, is really important, because I feel like because of this person's hot and cold energy, it's making it a little bit difficult to know like what exactly is the right thing for you to do, or maybe even exactly how you feel, or what to even make of this. Now, I do feel like that's the energy that you're feeling very trapped in, is, you know, there's this energy of, well, when things are good, they're really good. Like, I feel good, this person makes me feel good. But then when things are bad, it's like a completely, you know, opposite of when things are good. And I feel like you're feeling trapped in that kind of like up and down, hot and cold energy that you're dealing with this person. And of course, that's going to make it hard to know what to do, right? Because you're going to be like, well, sometimes this person does treat me like I deserve, but then other times they don't. But what, you know, like, what do I make of that? Like, if they're there sometimes, or if that, you know, I get to experience that sometimes, like, that's great, but I would like that all the time. You know, I'd like to know that I'm being valued all the time. So I don't know what's going on here. We're just going to keep diving into this. So it was just overall energy. Now we're going to get the overall theme of the reading, and then we'll start diving into tarot. Overall theme for Pisces. Free yourself. Free yourself. Pay attention to red flags was on the bottom. Is there anything else here? Passion. And then you have release your ex on the bottom. Interesting. Okay. So I'm going to focus on this free yourself and passion card because those are the ones that came out. I mean, it makes sense that you have this free yourself card, right? Because you're feeling trapped. Now, when we're dealing with soul contracts, it can be a little bit harder to kind of break free of those, or like from the energy that they place into our life. And I see that a lot with just in general, how do I say this? Like difficult relationships or relationships that end up being like kind of painful, is sometimes we feel really trapped in that experience. And a lot of times the reason for that is because there is a spiritual purpose beyond the connection itself. And the connection itself, the reminder of it and the memory of it and the pain associated with it is kind of like guiding us toward that deeper purpose. And so sometimes we get a little bit trapped in that. Now, I'm not saying that that's what's happening, but I do feel like there is a lot of passion in this connection. Like, obviously you have it here. I feel like this person has strong feelings for you. I feel like there is a lot of passion. And I feel like that passion consistently maybe brings the two of you together, because it's like, wow, things feel so good when we're together, or things feel so good sometimes, or things feel so good when, you know, this is happening or whatever. But then again, it feels like you're stuck in this pattern of like closeness and then separation. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean like breakup, makeup. It could just mean like, you know, there's this emotional closeness and there's emotional distance. Sure, maybe physical closeness, maybe physical distance. But either way, I feel like a big part of that is a product of this person's kind of hot and cold behavior. And I feel like you're needing to kind of figure out how to best move forward so that you can ultimately align with the love that you do really deserve. Because I feel like right now this isn't necessarily what you deserve, and I feel that with the know your worth card, right? So I don't know. Let's start, Pisces, with pulling cards for your side of this connection. This is Pisces energy toward the person they are dealing with. The world, yeah, so you are stuck in a cycle. And it's a cycle of feeling like it's like maybe feeling like you finally got what you wanted, or things are finally getting better, things are finally getting to that place of stability, and then like that not happening, or being that kind of being something happening to get in the way of that. You have the World with the Nine of Pentacles. The Nine of Pentacles really represents kind of wish fulfillment. The Nine of Pentacles can also represent like wish fulfillment that looks really good on paper too. So like maybe this person really aligns with like check a lot of your boxes in a way, and maybe that's another reason why this has been so complicated for you. The Hermit in reverse is this representation that there's almost this sense of loneliness here. It's like, and that loneliness, I feel like, is present even when the connection is good. Like, even when that passion is there and things feel good. And that is what we want to kind of dive into a little bit, right? Yeah, because there's the Three of Swords. So it's obvious that there's some heartache here. There's some heartbreak. I feel like, and that's the cycle. It's like they leave you lonely. They come in, kind of like sweep you off your feet, make you feel all the things, and then they leave you lonely. Whatever that looks like whether it's distance or behavior change or whatever the case is. And I feel like that within itself is hard, right? Because then you're going to start to hold on for the times when things are good, especially if you're dealing with someone that kind of comes in and out a lot, or is in that, hot, cold energy, is like switching a lot. The Judgment in reverse energy here is a need to uncover like, how do I say that? A need to uncover a deeper truth. Now, this Page of Swords, coupled with the Judgment in reverse, represents to me your side of the communication in this connection. And I feel like your side of the communication, for the most part, is not in alignment with what it is you really feel. Especially if you're feeling like disappointed, or if you're feeling unhappy with how things are. Maybe you have a tendency to turn to things like passive aggressiveness, or maybe you have a tendency to just withdraw your energy altogether. Or maybe you have a tendency to not say anything at all. To almost, keep your feelings to yourself and just be like, well, I don't want to ruin this, or I don't want to push this person away. And I feel like that has created a little bit more complication in the connection itself, because it almost feels like there's this energy of like almost wanting to be okay with how things are, because I do feel like things are so good when you guys are together, but just not being okay. It's like, but I'm not okay with it. Like, I'm not okay with how things are. There's something missing, or there's something I need more, or I need consistency, or I need commitment, or I need something. And it's like there's this lack of fulfillment here, but I don't know if you're speaking up about that. I don't know if you're being totally honest about that. It's almost like a suffering in silence kind of energy, especially with the Hermit in reverse and the Three of Swords. It's like there's this energy of withdrawal, of being left alone, left feeling alone. And almost like there's nothing you can do about it. And this is something that repeats, because then I feel like this person comes back and it's like, oh, I feel good again. It's like this rush of things are good again. Everything's going to be fine. But then that happens again. Now, on the other side, maybe you have spoken your truth. Maybe you've been honest about what you need, and it hasn't really mattered. Not that it doesn't matter. It always matters. Speaking your truth is always so important. But I mean that, like, it didn't affect this person's behavior. And maybe that's the lesson below the contract. It's almost like you and this person met for a very specific reason, a very specific purpose. And the purpose is within the cycle and within breaking out of this cycle. And I feel like that is like the biggest thing that is needing to be addressed. Is that, well, which makes sense, because you have free yourself. Free yourself from this cycle. Free yourself from this hot and cold. Interesting. So what the heck is going on with them? The heck is going on with this person, Pisces? This person's energy toward Pisces. Because you have this dream come true energy. You have this romance energy. Like, it's almost like they see you as a dream come true. They have these really strong feelings for you. So their behavior makes zero sense. And I feel like you're like, welcome to my life when I say that. Two of Swords in reverse. So there's this stagnancy. This inability to make up their mind, this indecisiveness. But what's the decision? There's the Ten of Swords. So this person, yeah, they're hurt by this. They're hurting too. You wouldn't know that. The Seven of Swords, I feel like they don't make that known. I feel like they're not upfront about that. I feel like you'd have absolutely no idea. But what is this? What are they hurt by? Because it kind of feels like they're hurt by their own actions, in a way, or by your actions that were a response to their actions in some way. This is confusing, Pisces. I certainly don't blame you for being confused. 8 of Swords. This energy of being trapped, but in a reality of their own making. Being trapped in a reality of their own making. You're feeling trapped in a reality of their own making too, because it's like, what is this? Okay, hang on. Before I dive deeper into this, I want to get clarity on this 2 of Swords in reverse. Because to me, if they would just make up their mind, right, the hot and cold energy is the indecisiveness. But if they see this as like, dream come true, wow, this is so amazing, then like, why won't they just choose commitment? Like, stop being so hot, cold, just pick one. Like, where is that coming from? Where is that about? The 5 of Swords, defensiveness. They've got a wall up. Afraid of vulnerability here. Afraid of getting hurt. So they hurt themselves instead. Ah, that makes sense. You know, something that's really interesting about humans, just the psychology behind how we pick, is we are so afraid of things happening to us that sometimes we will make them happen so that they don't happen to us. So like what I mean by that is if we're afraid of failure, we will choose not to even try, and we'll just deal with the pain of it not working out now rather than trying and failing, because we're afraid of the pain of that failure. And a lot of people do this in relationships. A lot of people are so afraid of getting hurt that instead of giving it a try, you know, being vulnerable, opening themselves up, they will walk away or ruin the connection before giving it a chance, which hurts them. But at least they're not getting hurt. It's like it's in their control. It's in their power, right? It's like, I'm going to hurt me before you can hurt me. I'm going to make a decision that affects, you know, this connection because I'm afraid to give into this connection. And yeah, that's hard. Because especially if you know that they do love and care about you, maybe they tell you that, maybe they, you know, you just know, maybe intuitively, or maybe, again, there is a deep soul connection here. So maybe, you know, you can just kind of feel it or just, like I said, intuitively understand it. And that can be really hard when you're like, you just want to shake someone and you want to go, oh my God, stop, like stop pushing me away, or stop, you know, creating this distance, or what are you doing? And I think that is particularly challenging when you're dealing with someone who's in and out, right? Someone who, oh my gosh, I have so many feelings for you, and you know, you feel those feelings and there's passion and it feels really good, and then the next day they're just like gone. And you're like, what? Like, you just told me that I was the love of your life, and then you were gone like literally the next day. And that can be, I mean, obviously incredibly painful, but it's interesting because it's nothing to do with you. This person definitely has this fear of vulnerability and being open to getting hurt again. It's like they don't want to get hurt again, so they're just going to hurt themselves before they get hurt again, which, if you think about it, doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. But that's the funny thing, again, about us as humans and the way that we take is sometimes we're not really aware of the ways that we do this. And so we come up with our own excuses to justify our behavior, justify our actions, because, you know, it's like, for example, when I first met my husband in the very beginning of our relationship, he was literally a dream come true for me. Like, from the beginning, I was like, this is insane. This is everything I could have ever asked for in a person. And he made his feelings very clear for me. There was never any mind games. Like, everything was just so smooth. It was easy almost. And thank goodness, and I always say that, like, I'm glad that I met him when I did, because if I met him any sooner, it wouldn't have worked. Because in the first few months of our relationship, I tried to find any and every reason to push this man away. I tried to figure out, it was like, oh, I'm not good enough for him, or this will never work, or here's this reason, or here's that reason. And luckily I had done enough healing and growing to this point that I was able to recognize this and be like, this is stupid. Let me work through these feelings, but I'm not going to act on them, right? But in the past, I have a history of sabotaging connections that are good for me because I didn't know, first of all, I was afraid of getting hurt. And second of all, it was easier for me to push people away than to allow people in to hurt me. And I, like I said, had healed and grown a lot to recognize that I was doing this, but it took a lot of addressing these things like later on, kind of after the fact, and working through it in therapy and my spiritual journey and things of that nature. So what I'm getting at is, like, at the time, I didn't realize I was doing this. I was just making decisions, and unfortunately it was impacting the connection. I feel like this person is really pushing you away, not because you're not good enough or because they don't care or because they don't value you, but because it's almost like you feel too good to be true to them. And it's easier for them to put up a wall and create distance in the connection than it is for them to let you in. And at the end of the day, the only thing that you can do is make your intentions clear. You can be open and honest about how you feel and what you're, what you're looking for in the connection, and you just hope that they hear those. But a lot of times when you're dealing with people who are struggling with their fear of getting hurt, they won't hear you because they're so, focusing on like protecting themselves and not allowing other people to hurt them, that it's like they're not gonna believe you. Someone who struggles to believe that they're lovable isn't gonna believe that you love them, no matter how much you try or how much you try to show them. And I feel like that then in turn ends up hurting you, right? So I empathize with this person, I do, but I will say I also empathize with this side of the connection, because I've also been, when I did a little bit of healing and growing, I then kind of ended up on this side where I started attracting people that were like how I used to be, who would push away love. And then I tried to be like, no, I can love you, and you just let me in. And I tried to, help them heal in the way that I had healed. And eventually I stopped doing that too, because that just ended up getting me hurt until I met my husband. But what I'm trying to get at here with this, what you're dealing with this person is that, yeah, it's obvious that there's potential here. It's obvious that they have feelings for you, but there's also a need for you to break yourself out of this cycle. Because if this person isn't capable of saying like, yes, I love you, I care about you, like, let's make this work, and to ultimately like commit to you or to working on the connection, then there's really nothing that you can do about that except for protect your worth and your value, protecting your heart, right? Which I feel is what free yourself is all about. So you're not as trapped as you think you are. It's just that I feel like there's this need to really make sure that you are, focusing again on what you can control and not so much on what you can't, which is hard when you're dealing with people like this, but it is possible. We're going to hop on over to the extended. You have Know Your Worth with Divine Timing. We're going to dive deeper into these messages, looking at the deeper truth of the connection and the best way for you to move forward in order to align further with your higher self. Thank you so much, Pisces, as always, for the support of my channel. I obviously hope that this reading helped and resonated with you in a way that you were needing today. And as always, oh my gosh, I wish you nothing but love and healing and all of the wonderful things that you deserve and desire on your journey moving forward. It's usually where I close out, but I do want to mention that I just switched over to a new process for extended readings. So if you do purchase this extended readings and you have any issues, you shouldn't have issues, but if you do have issues, shoot me an email. I will get you the link immediately. Every time I switch over a process or I try something new, I'm constantly checking my emails. So if there is any issue, don't worry. I will get back to you very soon. Okay. Thank you, Pisces. See you next time. All right, bye.